Good morning, YouTube. Welcome back to the channel. I have Frank's Caballero back in the shop, as you can see. Still missing a bunch of its engine parts, and that's what we're going to talk about today. I know some of you out there have waited a while and been kind of curious what's going on with this car. So this is going to be a little longer video. This video is intended solely for buyer awareness and consumer protection. One thing that I've learned, especially in I'd say the last 10 years of my life, that the government consumer protection programs that are out there do not benefit you or I. Period. You can call those people and tell them how to do their jobs all day long, and nothing will ever get done. And most of the time, they side with the businesses, and it's just and the loopholes you got to go through. It's astronomical and just deflating. And they build these systems to be difficult, to just make you just not want to even battle it. And that's what we got going on here. Exact situation. So today in this video, I want to break down 7 bullet points that happened with this job. So seeking warranty for this car for blown head gaskets at 300 miles, I went down an extensive amount of emails, phone calls, a timeline, and it is all designed to be difficult and push you away and just, you know what, I don't even want to deal with it anymore. That's their exact goal. And so today we're doing that. Like we're throwing in the towel today. We've made the decision. We're moving on. But I want to address all 7 bullet points that are specifically related to this engine and show evidence on camera to everybody here that you can see with your own eyes the failure point, and what caused the failure, and then the neglect from the business stepping up and admitting the failure. So, and we'll go through all 7 bullet points of those, and then I'll talk about the timeline a little bit. And so so stick around if you want to see exactly what will happen if you ever got to go through a warranty process, specifically with this company, or other companies out there you don't know. And so again, buyer protection, buyer beware. The intent of this video is to tell you, the other people out there just like me, spend your hard-earned money, that, hey, be careful, because there's companies out there that won't take care of you as soon as you make that call. This is one of those companies. This is 100% one of those companies. They are your best friend. They'll see you on social media. They'll sponsor your stuff. They'll just be party live, all this, until the second you say the W word. The second you call up and you throw the W word out there, all that stops. You're not that person anymore. Now you're put in this bucket of what do we got to do to get this person to go away and not have any more money come out of our store or our business. Like whatever you can do to get this person to go away without giving them $1 of our money, that's what you need to do. And that's exactly what this company did. So I'm going to dive right into it. I'm going to go through the timeline real quick and tell you the timeline. On May 12th, I called this company and spoke to the person who takes the original claims, I guess. And that person immediately emailed me the warranty policy and the instructions of what happens. Inform me, hey, text pictures, text this, text that, to this number, and this number will put it into your claim. On 513, didn't hear anything back. It's been past 24 hours, so I contacted that person again, and that person said the warranty technician should be contacting me soon. And it was later that day, at the end of the day, the person actually called me, first initial B, and B discussed the compression in the coolant test results that I had already given to the first person. And in our conversation, neither B or myself could come up with any other definitive test to rule out the head gaskets. So B agreed. Next step is to remove the heads and inspect further. During this call, B advised that this company would send out a head gasket kit and a return label to get everything in the process, get ahead of the process pending teardown. We both agreed on this phone call. We were like, well, we got to tear it down and find out what happened. Okay. So 5:15, 2 days later, I email B explaining what the discovery was upon disassembly of the heads from the block. In this email, several key points. 1, evidence of head gasket failure between the cylinders 3 and 5. 2, discovery of gray silicone on some of the head bolts on the bottom of the head bolts. 3, discovery of excessive RTV silicone between block heads extending from the valley area of the head gasket all the way to the fire ring on 4 outer cylinders, to the point that the fire ring stopped the flow of silicone. 4, Eric requested policy be cited on the use of RTV when installing head gaskets. And 5, the business's procedure for head bolts and rocker arm lash. Then, the same day, 5:15, I sent a second email to B, and in this email, I asked for several clarifications: the verification of BP's automated assembly process, RTV of head bolts, RTV on head bolts, and RTV between the valley and the fire ring area. Also covered several grave concerns and talked about, we're already losing trust here, and requested replacing the engine or rebuilding the engine. Either replace the engine or rebuild the engine. On the 16th, B responded, and number 1 stated that the head bolt supplier puts a thread sealant on every head bolt. I'm going to go through the 7 bullet points. We're just doing a timeline, so I'm going to address each one of these. B noted that this company does put RTV silicone on the head gaskets during assembly to ensure a leak-free block. He stated in the area of the valley only, he gave torque specs and lash. On the same day, the 16th, I emailed T, the person that was at the very beginning, an escalation email. And the reason is because Brian's email was very short and left a lot of unanswered questions that I had already asked, multiple very direct questions. And he came back. And so, my email was this long, and he comes back with 1 paragraph and says, this is what we do. So I escalated the email. On the 16th, T emailed Eric and advised the escalation email was forwarded to the warranty supervisor. On the 19th, I emailed, as Eric does not have the warranty supervisor's email. And in this email, new discoveries and concerns were announced into the claim. So on the 19th is also the day that I text additional photos and additional evidence to the file. The head gasket failure between 4 and 6 cylinders and 2 hot head bolts traced back to the hole between 4 and 6. I did receive the head gasket kit, and in this kit, the head bolts had white sealant on them. B had mentioned before that the head bolt supplier puts a thread sealant on the threads. We'll address this. And so I made it clear that, hey, this came and the thread sealant is there, but it's not the same as the gray that's found on the engine. Number 3, the Loctite SI 5900 was included. And so I'm asking, what's the intended purpose of this Loctite on application? I've never used gray silicone to assemble an engine like this. So now I got this bottle of Loctite. What do I do with it? So I asked, what's the intent and purpose of the guidance? I discussed growing concern and lack of communication and have agreed to replace the head gaskets. What would future warranty look like? Will BPE replace the engine? Will BPE rebuild the engine or give a new warranty? And then I gave them the declaration from Felpro on the use and expectations regarding using RTV on Felpro's head gasket 8364 PT. And then I asked that this email be forwarded to the warranty supervisor, and pics of all the evidence was attached. Now we're on to the 22nd. I emailed the warranty email address and the info email address again, asking if and when will anyone be answering my questions and concerns. On the 22nd, I emailed Jay and I said, hey, can you discuss with me the assembly process at your business? Because I have this discovery here and I'm not getting an answer. I'm getting these very short answers. And so Jay responded immediately and said, hey, that's not my department, but I'll forward this email to the appropriate team. So then I called the warranty and spoke to another person named with Jay, and Jay answered the phone at the warranty department. And I said, hey, who's going to contact me? And the person advised me that the warranty supervisor has it and should be reaching out. The person would not answer any of my concerns, which was really weird, that call too, because I was like, hey man, you can see the file, right? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, all right, so you see everything I've input in there, but I'm not getting anything back. Like, what's going on? Like, and do you do this? Do you guys truly do this? And all he kept saying was, the warranty supervisor will get back to you. The warranty supervisor will get back to you. The warranty supervisor will get back to you. He would not, like, you could tell he was very like, don't say anything. So then on the 23rd, again, the warranty supervisor did call and left a voicemail. I emailed the warranty supervisor, and in this email, this is still on the 23rd, I notified them that we're not going to do the phone conversation just because of the lack of trust and misleading, and they won't even, and even in emails, they won't even be fully transparent. So, but everything has to be in writing going forward from this point forward. I let them know that, and discussed all the concerns supplied by Eric regarding the engine. On the 23rd, that person responded and said the following week he would respond to my concerns. So my original open claim was 5/12, and on 5/23, the warranty supervisor says, hey, next week, I'll get with you and I'll address every one of your concerns. 6/9, June 9th, I send a follow-up email to the warranty supervisor as another 17 days have passed with zero resolve. That day, June 9th, I was working on another project that I'm working on, and I happened to be on the phone with this company. Well, I'll say it. I was on the phone with Summit Racing, and I was making a purchase with Summit Racing, and I was like, hey, I got a question for you. Last year, I wrote you a check for about 10 grand. He's like, yeah. And I'm like, well, we have a little problem with that situation, as the manufacturer is stonewalling me and not getting back to me. And the person was like, really? And I'm like, really? And I can show you the timeline that I just discussed with you all. And I can show you all the evidence you want to see. I can show you everything. And it's like, all right, let me make a phone call. And it was that day that, no, I'm sorry. I didn't even take that back. It was 3 days later. That was on the 9th, June 9th. Now we're on June 12th. The warranty supervisor finally emails me back. So we are from 5/12, I opened the claim, started the process, and we are on 6/12. So exactly 30 days to get this response to my now would have been condensed down to 7 bullet points. So the email I sent to the warranty supervisor was 7 bullet points. Very clear, very bullet points. And you need to address each one of these questions. So this is what we got. I'm going to read the email just so you all have a kind of after that timeline and after all this evidence and all this and asking these 7 specific questions, this is the response you get. This is the response I got. Hi, Eric. I finally had a minute to look into this. I will address each question individually. 1. Head gasket failure between 4 and 6 cylinders. This is a clear failure caused by high cylinder temperatures detonation. The high temperatures are what discolored the head bolt. Number 2, Eric received head gasket kit. In this kit, the head bolts had white sealant on them, not the same as the gray found on the failed engine. That's easy. We have switched to a different head bolt manufacturer. Number 3, Loctite SI 5900 was included. Eric asked what is its intended purpose is and guidance on application. Answer, we use 9500 Loctite to seal the China rails and just below the China rails on the head gasket. Number 4, discuss growing concern of lack of communication. Answer, not really an excuse, but we are down to 2 people and during our busy time of the year. The tech you're working with was on vacation. Number 5, if agreed to replace head gaskets, what would future warranty look like? Answer, the warranty would still continue going off the original installation date. Number 6, replace the engine. Answer, no. Number 7, will the business rebuild engine and give new warranty? Answer, we would bring the engine back and recondition this engine and return to you at no cost. Warranty would not start over. Number 8, declaration from Felpro and the use of expectations regarding using RTV on their head gaskets part 8364PT. Answer, we would still use the Loctite product in the same areas it was installed during the original build. We have found that this has helped prevent oil from seeping through the head gasket. That's it. That's the email. That's the 7 points. So now we're going to break down all 7 of them. I'm going to show you the evidence. I'm going to show you where they're wrong in every one of them. And then we're just going to go about our lives. And you all are going to see with evidence, with scientific physical evidence, and you're going to see the gaslighting that they do and how they just try and push you aside so they can save their money and just keep operations going. That's where we come in. We have to share this stuff. We have to share buyer awareness, buyer protection, consumer protection, whatever you want to call it. We have to share with each other. And that's why reviews are very essential. You have a bad experience, put on a review, because we got to lean on each other to make sure that, if companies are trying to take advantage of us or not support us, don't use them. So I've always had this saying, I don't care I don't care what you're selling. I don't care what the product is. If you can't stand behind it in the service department and the parts department and the warranty department, your product is junk. I don't care if it's $1 million car. If you don't have support in warranty and in parts and service, the product is junk. All right. It's junk. All right. Number 1, head gasket failure between 4 and 6 cylinders. In the emails, I even showed them. Listen, in the emails, I even showed them. It wasn't just between 4 and 6. It was between 4 and 6. And it was between 3 and 5. We had the same problem on both sides of the heads. Head gasket failure between 4 and 6, 3 and 5. He doesn't even address either one. He doesn't even address both sides. He just addresses one side. And he's like, oh, yeah. And that's high debt. Okay, so what are the words? Let's watch the words, because this is where it gets scientific, okay? This is a clear failure caused by high cylinder temperatures detonation. The head temperatures are what discolored the head bolt. Okay. High cylinder temperatures detonation. What does that mean? That means a lean fuel mixture, right? Okay, well, that's the easiest one to disprove here, because you can just look at the heads, and what do you see? What do you see? You see no evidence of a lean mixture. All you see is rich fuel, right? So then you come to the spark plugs, which they've seen. They've seen all 8 spark plugs. What are these spark plugs? Rich with fuel, rich with fuel, rich with fuel. Number 2, Eric received the head gasket kit. In this kit, the head bolts had white sealant on them, not the same as the gray found on the engine. Listen, I showed them multiple times, and they just won't even, they jump over it every time. So this is the white sealant that they're talking about. It's a white thread sealant on the head bolts, right? Nice white thread sealant, okay? There's no gray. There's no gray anywhere on there, okay? I'm going to turn this around. As you can see, in the head bolts, there is gray silicone on the head bolts. Like specifically like this one right here. We'll get it in there. That is not the white sealant. That is gray silicone the way it came out of the hole. So there's a couple concerns here. So one is it's addition to the white thread sealant. So it shouldn't be there, right? Because you shouldn't be putting anything on these thread bolts. You want to know why? Scientifically, no engine, small block Chevy, needs thread sealant for blind holes. And guess what? This manufacturer has every head bolt is a blind hole. If it's a blind hole, that means these holes don't go to coolant. It's just a hole to put a bolt in. So if it's just a hole to put a bolt in, why do you need thread sealant? You don't. You don't need it. This is pointless. If anything, in their minds, they're thinking this is some kind of like Loctite and it's going to keep the head bolt from coming out. Whatever. But that's not the concern. The concern is the gray silicone that has been applied to the head bolt on top of the white thread sealant. Okay? Did everybody see this? And even worse, it's at the bottom, which means you're putting a liquid material in a blind hole that cannot compress at the bottom of the hole. That's a very, very no-no. Very no-no. And you can see this is human installed, like, right? And it's only on, it's not on every one, like this one. Here's another one, right? We can go to the other side and just say, well, we got to go over there anyways. I want to go back to number 1, actually, because I forgot to show you. High cylinder temperature detonation, he said. Because I'm like, well, there's this one head bolt that got really, really hot. You know why? Because this one head bolt was right here. And this is where this is where the head gasket's blown, right here. So the compression was going this cylinder compression, very hot cylinder compression, was going right through here and going into this bolt hole and going into the coolant jacket right here. This is the main failure right here on this side. And so that's where that bolt came from. We'll bring this up here later because there's more concerns with that bolt. Eric received, the head bolts had white sealant on them, not the same as the gray failed on the engine. That's easy. We switched to a different head bolt manufacturer. He switched to the different head bolt manufacturer. He says he switched to a different head bolt manufacturer, but yet he sent out the exact same head bolts with the same white thread sealant on it, just minus the gray that somebody else applied. But they just switched. They just switched, right? That's easy answer. That's an easy answer, Eric. Number 3, Loctite was included. Eric asked what its intended purposes and guidance on application. Answer from this company. We use Loctite to seal the China rails and just below the China rails on the head gasket. We use Loctite to seal the China rails and just below the China rails. All right, come with me, class. This is where it gets really good. This is a China rail. This right here, do you know what? Because it's like the wall of China, right? This is a China rail right here. From this point right here to this point right here is your China rail. From this point right here to this point right here is your China rail. After the head gasket is installed and you put the intake manifold on, you put sealant right here to seal this area right here. Maybe an 1/8 inch that way, maybe an 1/8 inch that way. Yes, that's the silicone you guys are looking at. This is how much silicone they put in here. From the top of the China rail, 4.5 inches down to the cylinder wall or the fire ring on the head gasket. Now you ask yourself, why is it squished like this, perfectly flat, and then it stops right here? Well, that's because as they were clamping the head bolts down, they were squeezing this silicone, which is now creating a different thickness of the head gasket here versus here. So this is a different thickness than this is now, because liquid can't compress to nothing. That's why you can't put liquid in a blind hole. So the fire ring literally stopped the silicone from going any further. If the fire ring wasn't there, they would have squeezed silicone all the way into the cylinders. And they did on all 4. All 4 corners have gray silicone all the way to the fire ring. And I showed them all these pictures and all these evidence. Look at this one. This one's perfect. Perfect. The fire ring stopped the gray silicone 100% from going into the cylinder. And then you got the last one right there. So, what does that do? I'll tell you what that does. If you look right here, the gray silicone, all the way to the fire ring, all the way to the fire ring. So, you can see exactly what it has done. This is supposed to be a machined surface for the head gasket to go against. This is a machined surface that has to be within 100,000ths of an inch to the block. And then, as the manufacturer says on the head gaskets, you never put anything on these head gaskets. These head gaskets are designed to go between 2 pieces of metal and be clamped down to a specific torque and not leak and not fail. But when you apply silicone just here and not the rest of the way, you now create this, right? It's thicker on the ends, thinner in the middle. You clamp it down. It's not the same, but you're trying to bend a piece of metal that's not supposed to bend like that. So why did it fail in the center of the cylinder heads? because the ends were thicker than they were in the middle. So it got a completely different torque. But the only, I'll throw this in right now. The only speculation I have that I don't have evidence is what happened at their facility. And I'm going to tell you what my speculation is. My speculation is that this engine failed, and in quality control at the dyno, whatever, this engine failed, and and here's why, is because they have an automated process where a robot installs the heads. And you can watch all their videos, and nowhere they show a guy standing there and saying, hold on, robot, let me apply the silicone first. Okay, come on, robot, now tighten them down. No, the heads are set, gaskets are set, and nowhere is there in these videos is anybody applying silicone to the head gaskets. But if it fails after the automated process and the automated engine building, if it fails at dyno, or it failed at a coolant, it failed. They pulled the a human pulls the heads back off, and a human put a new set of head gaskets on it, and a human applied that silicone, and a human then reused the head bolts and applied gray silicone because the human, when he pulled these out, went, oh, well, most of the white's gone. Let me add some gray on there and just use my finger. But that's all speculation because we obviously don't know what they do inside their warehouse. But gray silicone doesn't belong in there, period. So just make it clear. This is the only area that you are ever going to apply a sealant on a small, I'll just speak specifically on this engine. On a small block Chevy, you are only going to ever put a sealant right here for these head gaskets. That's it. Not 4.5 inches down here. Okay? Do we get that? Understand? Number 4, growing concern and lack of communication. Man, and I'm talking paragraphs like, what is up with you guys? Like, how do you run a company like this? And he says, not really an excuse, but we're down 2 people. It's our busy time of the year. A busy time of year in the warranty department? That's not good. I don't want to work with a company that's busy in the warranty department, honestly. If you're that busy that it takes you a month to get back to customers who spent $10,000 of their hard-earned money at your business, yeah, anyways. All right. Number 5, if agreed to replace the head gaskets, what would the future warranty look like? The warranty would still continue going off the original installation date. All right. We're going to get back to number 1. Bullet point number 1. High cylinder temperatures and detonation. So he admits that the engine had such a catastrophic failure, and he says adamantly, this is a clear failure caused by high cylinder temperatures and detonation, which we proved wrong. But in his mind, there was this failure, but it's not a concern of theirs. Are you following yet? It's not a concern of theirs for the whole engine. It's not a concern that that bolt got really hot in that hole. It's not a concern that there's possibly a crack right there. It's not a concern that either one of the heads possibly could be warped because of the silicone on the outsides. None of that is their concern. Their concern is, here's a new set of head gaskets. Here's some Loctite, because that's what we do. Like, he's admitting what they do for quality control or their whatever that department is, that when it fails, it failed QC, and then that's what they do. They just throw another set of head gaskets on it, reuse the head bolts, and just turn it out. And that's literally what they're wanting me to do. Eric, put head gaskets on it, put bolts on it, and twist her tail. Or Send it back to us, and we will. Number 7. Number 6, will we replace the engine? No. He responded with capital N-O. Not, and I mean, that's another thing. Like in here, if you look at like just how they use sentences, and we're like, they are, it's awful, right? Capital no. That's just saying, that's all that says is no, we're not replacing the engine. Number 7, will they rebuild the engine and give new warranty? We would bring the engine back and recondition this engine and return it to you. The warranty is the exact same. Well, we all know what would happen, right? I would take this engine out, take this. I have to figure out how to box it all up. I got to figure out how to put it on a pallet. I got to figure out how to ship it to them. For them to do what? We already know, right? Put head gaskets on it. Maybe they might get a new set of bolts this time and use some silicone and then send it back and give the guy the same warranty as when it was $10,000 brand new. Number 8, declaration from Felpro on the use of expectations regarding using RTV on their head gaskets, part number 8364. We would still use the Loctite. So they just basically, Felpro, hey, listen, Felpro, we know you make an amazing gasket. Everybody's been using your gaskets for like 100 and some years. Part number 8364 PT. This is a very nice gasket. And if you, I'm not even going to go into it, but this material, this blue material you see right here, this actually is the sealing material that is scientifically designed to go between two pieces of metal without anything else. No liquids, no contaminants, no nothing. Just clean metal, and then you get a perfectly just exact scientifically installed head gasket. But apparently at this company, they got millions of dollars of automation to streamline this process and make sure that their quality control is just like the best. But yet they still put RTV silicone on the head gasket, and they even say we would still use the Loctite in the same areas it was installed during the original build. During the original build, we would still use the Loctite product in the same areas it was installed during the original build. Not like, because that's original. So the robot actually he's saying the robot actually put all this silicone on there, because there's no way they would tell me that this engine has been rebuilt prior to me buying it. Because when I bought it as a brand new 0 mile, 0 run engine, right? But it seems it might have had a failure. It might have been torn apart. Might have got some silicone in there. Anyways, the evidence is all right here. You can't show them any more evidence. Oh, so I'll show you I want to show the chat for the kids in here that haven't seen this before. So you can see the pathway from right here to right here is a clean path. No head gasket material. It's all blown off. And so it's a minor leak. It's very, very small. And that's why just sometimes it was upset in the car and sometimes it wasn't upset in the car. And then on this side, you can see the same failure right in the same area right here. You can see where it was blowing through. This one wasn't as profound as the other side or done with that yet, but anyways. So that's where we're at. I'm done. So me and the owner, it's on. Me and Paul discussed it, and we're just like, what do you do? Like, I mean, could I hire a lawyer right now and show them with physical evidence exactly where they're negating to be just a good company and do right and replace the friggin' engine? Absolutely. Do I have that energy, the time, and the money? No, we don't. And so our plan is basically what you would probably do. People just, we're just normal guys out in our fucking backyards with, I mean, we got hard earned money and that's it. And we don't got money to waste and throw around. And so, but at this point, we're just like, do we want to get on with life? Like, we can't, our minds can't keep just battling this battle because you can see you're obviously going to get nowhere with them. Like, they have stonewalled more. I mean, they're professional stonewallers. That's what they do. And then they gaslight you and they say it's your problem. Like, you did this. You cause high cylinder temperatures and detonation. High cylinder temperatures detonation don't happen in a rich cylinder. It doesn't happen. So buyer beware. This company is just, they will just take you for a ride and you won't enjoy it one bit. So I don't know what else. I don't know what else I can even say other than, you know what? Oh, so what are we going to do? Oh, so what are we going to do? So, oh, what are we going to do? We're just going to put it back together. I'm going to put the head gaskets on. I'm going to clean it up. I'm going to, try and sand it down the best I can with a block. I can't even talk right now. And then we're just going to put it back together. And so we basically have just said, you know what? We're just going to see what happens. And we're prepared for it to not last. We're prepared for it to fail. And if it does again, I'm going to record the whole process, obviously, when I put it together. So that way, if there's another warranty beyond this, I mean, there won't be, though, because we're just going to move on. We're not going to do business with this company anymore. And so, which is crazy because, man, they were like the coolest. They were like your buddies. Like, it was like calling your buddy up. And yeah, but it's a shame. And the sad thing is the videos I've posted and seeing comments, like somebody commented and said that we call them the silicone junkies. And I'm like, you call them the silicone, like there's a phrase out there. People call them the silicone junkie. And then I have an engine that has silicone in it and it's blown up. Like, that's just crazy to me. So anyways, but yeah, I just want to get it out there for you all. So like, if I help one person, like to like, hey man, I don't know, like I'm going to ask before, just beware, buyer beware. So, that's all I got. And, till next time, God bless and be safe and, good luck out there. It's a friggin', it sucks sometimes.